in the month of July 1992, I bought a property in Runda, July 1992, which has been taken over by hooligans associated with Robert Alai.
Alafu, talking of fighting for land, there was this other story that was trending.
Right.
And the story, me nakuaga mtu, have I invested in land? Yes. Do I think it's a safe investment? No.
Nope.
Sometimes I wake up and I wonder, is that land even mine? So I don't,
Yeah.
land tu mimi najua gani yangu nilikoocha ujakani. Hizi
'Cause
zingine
unajua.
nakuaga 50-50 about. So kuna hii story ya land and nataka tuisikize alafu you can give me your two cents about it.
Yeah.
The family of Nairobi businessman Mukhtar Ahmed Parker is appealing to the government to step in and help them reclaim a piece of land in Runda, where they say they have lived for decades now. Through their lawyer Harrison Kinyanjui, the family alleges that a Nairobi politician has grabbed their property and forcibly evicted them. They claim the politician deployed armed goons wielding crude weapons to kick them out and has since defied court orders directing him to vacate the land.
If you do not have a title document to a property, you have no business occupying it. You have no business sitting on it. You have no business sending emissaries to go and occupy it. Why would you venture even to throw out the actual owner of that property?
Kwa nini huyu lawyer anikufanania na Mr. Nice?
Mr. Nice?
Yeah, ananifanania.
Okay. Hapana.
Ni mimi tu basi.
Wewe.
Looks like kidalipo. Baka instead of kuongea juu ya land kwa nasema kuku kapanda wa iskeli.
But I can see it's around the mouth, but
yeah. So,
hey.
kesi kama hii ukisikia like Runda, you've lived in that house for decades.
Yeah.
And then a politician says they own the house. You've lived there for decades.
Yeah.
You have all the papers.
Yeah.
But mtu anakuja. Alafu on top of that anatumia guns. Paka I feel like Kenya is the one of the few countries where you should have like a defense system.
Oh my goodness. You're thinking like me.
Guns wakifika. Hey, cause kama land ni yako. Like land in Runda, you can try and imagine how much sacrifice you have to make for you to own land in Runda and a house.
Yeah, and for that long.
Alafu mtu anakuja kutaka kuchukua. So, ukisikia kitu kama hii?
Makes my blood boil. You can feel the helplessness, the frustrations, the injustice. You can feel it. Like I'm looking at that video and how they are pushing these people to get out with their goons. Then there's a court.
House.
Yeah, then there's a court order involved. How did we get there? Unfortunately, this happens so often. Maybe some reaches to the news. The rest, you've seen Sonko trying to intervene. You know, and bless him because other than that, the legal system is not helping anyone. You see, the lawyer, Harrison,
Yes.
He's there, he's with the family, and still just the disregard, first of all, of the law. Second, impunity, because they'll get away with it. And right now, it's I feel like in general, in Kenya, especially the people who are in leadership at this point, they're trying to steal as much as they can. Yeah, I guess until whenever they're out of this government.
So now,
so
kesi kama hiki kwa reported. So it's reported by mainstream media. And mainstream media au ni within a kitu moja. Because kama kuna hapa, family in Runda appeals to government to reclaim land after forceful eviction by politician. So this is what KTN had posted. And I always feel like if you know the politician, you should name the politician.
Thank you.
So now, hatujui, but allegedly, I have to use the term allegedly,
yes.
The politician nasemekana ni Robert Alai.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So I think kulikuwa na hii article ya kileleshwa MCA dragged to court for allegedly grabbing a prime property in Runda. That's why tunatumia jina allegedly. So ilikuwa Bathroom Kenya. Ilikuwa ni kileleshwa MCA Robert Alai is being sued for allegedly grabbing a prime piece of land in Nairobi's Runda neighborhood in papers filed at Environment and Land Court by investment firm Cancer Investment Limited. Alai is being accused of unlawfully invading the property on March 31st, and since then efforts to drive him out of the property have been fruitless. The politician is reported to have hired goons who broke the gate and gained forceful entry into the property. Yes, through the firm, its lawyer Harrison Kinyanjui wants Alai compelled to leave the property. So let's say it's a lie, and he's an MCA right now.
Yep.
I have to wonder, salary ya MCA inaweza buy land in Runda ama
Well, maybe he's getting paid in what, dollars, some euros, because this is a person who holds office throughout.
yes.
In Runda, I think the least amount of money you can get for a piece of land, maybe with a house, it's like the least. This is just a wild guess.
Yes.
Maybe 40, 50 million. Moving up. Could be 100, depending on how big it is. No, does not add up.
And so that's the first question.
Yeah.
Ile naweza uliza if it's a lie, because vile tumesema these are allegations. Number 2 would be if it's a lie and he's still part of ODM,
Right.
what does this say about ODM?
They're all goons and crooks. Simple. They and also the fact that we thought by partnering up with the current government, we would see a balance, a neutralization of all these things we've been crying about. But they're all eating from the same plate. Who are we to even benefit from that? It's so unfortunate. You can see the betrayal and the fact that ODM used to be our hope, basically, especially with
Yes.
the current regime. And they went to bed with them. And you can see for some, an MCA getting so comfortable to go and grab land. Some things need to make sense. I wish it was an empty house where he's claiming, but he's evicting a family that has been there for decades.
Because
Yeah.
vile tumesema empty house, because nani anajulikanaga hivo allegedly that's what Apoko does. Yes, so Apoko inasemekanaga utafuta at least time mtu ayuko iya kwenda kuingia huko ndani na kutoa mtu if it's him, because unajua vile tunasema the newspapers have not, they are the ones who know who it is, but they've not told us who it is. So right now tunatumia tu kama allegations. And I look at it that way, and I'd go beyond looking at ODM as a party,
Right.
and I'd look at Raila Odinga. For a lot of Kenyans before the Gen Z movement ya last year, a lot of Kenyans used to look at Raila. I think kunasema the best president we never had. There are a lot of people who used to say that because they expected this guy to come, represent justice and represent all these things. If we're in a situation whereby one of your MCAs is grabbing land from an innocent Kenyan who most probably worked their whole life to own this land, if that is true, that says everything about ODM and everything about Raila, and that's literally telling Kenyans they dodged a bullet
Not
by never
only,
giving him the presidency, because you can't allow this to happen. Like inafaa kuwa this is a party of principles. If you're just ukiassociate wetu na corruption hivi, you step aside. Hakuna hata stories za
But these things are even highlighted in the MOU that they signed. And I feel so sorry for someone like Sifuna, because you can tell he's just hanging on, you know? And you're right. It just tells you who he is. Unfortunately, a lot of us know. I feel like this was just a confirmation, if you look at it that way, who could have been the best president we, quote unquote, never had. But if they're standing by the same, against the same indications they had put on that document, it's so sad, because clearly we've lost even the glimpse of hope probably we had, although personally I lost it a long time ago. Yeah.
Because now, and how scary is it to own like land, even own a house in Nairobi? Because this can happen to anyone. We always assume that this only happens to that person, and it's a very interesting phenomenon suaganayo kawa Kenya. But majuzi, I think there's a woman who's been running like a security firm hapa South Sea. I think it was last year, but one. People showed up and they were like we toka. I think hiyo yake pia involve Sonko alitry kumwokoa. I think ilikuwa time ya Sonko kuma 2022. So that happened, and now we have a situation ya hii somewhere someone has landed ameishi for decades. They show up. So how safe is it on land?
It's not safe. And again, those are the few examples we're remembering, because also Karen is notorious for that. Like there's so many homes that have been taken away the same way. And you can tell they're all prime area property.
Yes.
It's, actually, in fact, I say one day you might wake up, you find your ears gone or your feet at this point. Because imagine waking up, like, you're waiting for your kiddo to come home from school. The baby comes and finds everything is outside.
Yeah.
It's so uncool. And
goons chase you out. They don't even let you ati uchukue vitu zako.
No.
They chase you out. So everything that's inside the house wanachukua ni goons.
Ooh, of course.
So now you're starting from scratch.
Yeah. And then, come on, for someone to come and evict you, they have to have a proper court order. Proper. You
so
can tell.
He's ignored the court order.
Exactly. So even the judiciary is looking like, sorry to say this, but a dog without teeth. They disregard, like nothing is working. No one is following the constitution. Like the violations are so many. Right to life. Even if you're a serial killer, you have a right to life.
Yes.
Unless and until you're found guilty. And someone is just walking around telling you, shoot those people. There's so much, like, disregard of everything. You can't even refer to the constitution. You can't refer to the penal code. You can't refer to anything because it's all being violated. It's very scary for our country. Extremely scary, especially on impunity. People are just, let me not say people. People in the regime are getting away with so much. And when you get away with a lot, if you stick your finger in the sugar, next time you'll just go and sit next to the sugar and use a spoon to take it. Yeah, because there are no consequences. I really hope we can catch ourselves sooner than later.
Alafu najua kitu funny ni, and it's with Alai, because Alai has also been one of those people ile kabla waingia kwa government in quotes, tuko nachukua, he believes in a better Kenya.
Yes.
So all of a sudden he's been such a big supporter of Ruto that when this comes out, I actually think it's true. Najua ile, like, I know so far vile tumesema ni allegation, so we are not 100% sure if it's true. But the way he's been such a big supporter of Ruto, like you're the 180 make, because this was a sort of guy, people have shared his tweets back in the days, talking about if Ruto akiingia, he'd spend the first 3 years looting, do this, do this. And then it's reached a level where everything that Ruto does, hata I think jana, kulikuwa na nini, there's something it put, walikuwa na translate something Raila said when he was uko Jakani. Yes, ilikuwa baba Raila Odinga ameuliza, hiyo one term umesema ni ya mama yako. Someone still tells you, baba, we leave Ruto, we are going nowhere, 2 terms. So this is what he tweeted. And it was a speech ya Raila. Alisema, I think at something alisema na kijaka, and alibonga hiyo story ya one term. I don't know. Let's try and see if it was in Luo or something.
Okay.
Nigo kuna koni inyuge geshazi bidutengi kayo kayo yichu laini kayo dikini laini kaita bro goli mateka nyo kabisa mugo kuna kama kamani wanyo tiyogo nyo tiyogo ngoma kamani kuna no gabuka ndio nikolo sani nikolo ndo nikolo dobzani unwatiko disani nikiene tama.
Also here he's talking about there's someone who said that if you didn't vote for us, then you don't have shares in this government. Then he asks, would you work with such a person? So of course, he's referring to yes. Okay. That one delay.
Tamachiel Maroneru.
Ni hapo. hiyo term achiel mar meru hiyo ni one term ya mamako. Yes. So nani Alai has been a very big supporter of Ruto.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, like, why is this such a big supporter? Now if I hear such allegations, I'm like, yes, Ruto tunamjua, tuko tunamwita rap mashamba.
Yep.
Tuko tunamwita, you remember that time when he'd be looking at a piece of land and people will be like, ati anauliza kama title deed iko.
Yeah.
So easy nini, but it still goes back to how scary
Yeah.
is it to own land in Nairobi, because
Yeah.
is it your land? Can you actually claim ikitu ni yako? Majuzi watu wamekuwa evicted isi house a Kanjo. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see.
Yes,
but
isi house a
not
Kanjo, the
surprised.
ones that are owned by the county government.
Why
And then there were
Yes,
allegations.
I remember. Sorry, I remember. This was like 3-4 weeks ago.
Yes.
Okay, I remember.
Then
Yeah.
there were other allegations that one of the people who benefited
Yeah.
from those houses ilikuwa Sakaja's cousin. Kuona kitu kama hiyo, kulikuwa na hiyo pia.
I didn't
Hizo tu
get that
allegations
far,
iko
but
online.
yeah.
The ones you never take seriously. You're like,
Yeah.
I think anaitwa na Masaka or something. I remember seeing something like that.
Yes. Now that you mentioned it.
So now, see, you can't own land.
Yeah.
You can't live in a house that has rent control.
That you've been paying for years.
Yes.
Hey, why would even a person start? Oh, they want them to go to affordable housing.
But yeah, ni scary because now I don't know, because me, another thing that scares me is I don't know how they identify. Ile akina Apoko niko najua at what they do is they look for old white people.
Yes.
Alafu huo mtu akikufa hivi they take over.
Yeah.
Ama mtu akiwa incapacitated
Yeah.
they take over.
Yeah.
So that's hiyo ndio. But sasa hii ingine
Yeah.
where this family, everyone is fit and healthy and what?
Yes.
I'd want to know, like, how do they identify these houses? Because hey, unaweza kuwa hapo uko proud like I have this land, I have this and then siku moja tu shtukie
Imeenda.
wamekuja.
Yeah, I wish I knew. I wish I had an answer to that, Maf, because you're right. How do they even identify? And you're right. If there are other allegations of Mr. Poko are anything to go by,
Yes.
these are rumors that have been there for a long time. In fact, the worst part is he would move in, allegedly, and occupy the house like it's his. He'll find the seat, wardrobe. He moves in with his clothes. You know?
Kwa wall. Anaichukua naitoa naeka yake. Using the same frame.
Hey, it's so sad, so petty, so
Impunity.
impunity.
And these people are free.
Thank you.
And they don't think they're criminals. Unajua
No.
wale watu utasikia
Yeah.
they still criticize criminals. Because even like I think if you were to go through Alai's posts, even easy allegations happen, you'll still see anabonga juu ya criminals. And I'm like, so in your mind you don't think you're a criminal. Nacheki.
Yeah.
Like grabbing land, this is not criminality. Criminality according to watu ni kupiga watu ngeta
It's true.
na vitu kama hizo.
Na kutembea
The
na
rest
nini
are
na
not
gun.
nini. But then kuna hii narrative imekuwa ikipushiwa and even I think Jemole Mse also tried to push it.
Yeah.
And the narrative is the only people who are unhappy with this government ni nyinyi watu wa Mlima. What would you say to that?
Surely, no. First of all, regional and tribal politics, they died last year with the Gen Z movement. I know a lot happened
Yes.
in the central areas, especially on, when was it? Wednesday. On Wednesday, yeah?
Yes.
But if you randomly go by on Kenyatta Avenue and you start asking everyone, where do you come from? They come from everywhere. In fact, some don't even know where they come from.
Yes.
Like my kids are a quarter Luya, 3/4 Kikuyu. They don't know Kikuyu. They don't know Kiluya. I raised them in the city. 20 years from now, if you ask them, where do you come from? Things have changed. They won't
Yes,
say.
yes.
Personally, I can say I come from Kiambu or Nakuru, but I've lived in Nairobi throughout my life. That's just another narrative they're trying to spin. In fact, you can't convince me that people woke up and decided to go and torch or do something to an infrastructure that has been helping them.
Yes.
This is so well calculated. You see, like the Lokots, Kikuyu Lokots, yeah? I've passed there a couple of times, and it's a very secure place. But I'm telling you, leave alone the fire, they even broke the wall, like concrete wall.
Yeah. Oh.
It's down, yes. It's down. And then there's, it's called what? The spray, the graffiti spray. Yeah, and they've written a few things I won't say here. And then I remember a footage I saw of where ideally the people who are arrested should be. Cell 1, and it was empty. And I keep thinking, first of all, if it was a working day, because it was a working day,
Yes.
I'm sure someone had been arrested the previous evening. That cell was not empty, and it can be only one cell. It's so well calculated. And also I understand that people who did that, they're not even from that area.
Yeah.
They were transported. Let's be honest. Let's call it as it is. And if they're strategizing and trying to make... Look, if it's watu wa Murema, let me tell you, we love our things. We love our biasharas. We love our land. Why would you destroy? When has it even ever happened in the history of Kenya? So this is just a narrative being driven. And unfortunately, for anyone who wants to use the tribal card, the regional card, let me tell you, that thing left us with last year.
Vile umesema hivyo imeni remind, Luos have always been anti-government, yes? Kisumu locals haijaibaniwa.
Yep.
Hatujaiban magari za county. So nikiangalia gari za Nyandarua zikibaniwa, alafu niangalie vile unasema locals zimebaniwa, because this makes no sense. This one has to be like an inside government job, because you see, the more damage that's done, the more they can justify the fact that akufai kuwa na protest, because they're trying to justify protest not happening. So protest za Jackers was not happen. Kisumu locals azaibaniwa. Kuna nini shaibaniwa huko. I think maybe ataka kuna gari ya karau shaibaniwa ni once. Now this is after, I always talk about Matiang'i. I talk about his tenure as the interior CS and the amount of brain matter I saw in Kisumu, because those photos used to kuja. And we'd see like busted brains and what. So this used to happen. So for you to tell me that all of a sudden ilena happen central, people are burning cars, people are burning locals, people are burning watu wanaiba fertilizer, uko zile za alafu ya fertilizer tunafikiria juu ya 50 kgs. So it's 7,000 bags zimeibiwa. Na watu wanashinda how many goons were this?
There must have been many.
Must have been 7,000 goons. How do you know what it takes to have 7,000 goons?
Carrying 50. I don't even think it's every goon who can carry 50.
Wachata wakujetu wakiwa mikono empty. Majuzi Nairobi vile Sakaja lilipale goons wake. Were they more than 200?
No.
They were not.
You can't, I know, you can't
and this is Nairobi.
Such a big,
Now try and imagine some random place umemobilize 7,000 goons. Alafu ini gunia unaiba, unakumbuka watu wakiiba zinaitwa nini? Goats. Ni goats ama ni mbuzi? Kondo za Uhuru. We could see them. Uomona mtoto na gunia?
No, first of all, we live in a digital world. Even the people who are out there, they have smartphones. They're not blind. And then why of all the areas, fertilizer, why couldn't it be somewhere else? Because if you find, say, goons wanting to break, they want to break and steal something that they can benefit with, short term and long term. A laptop, food, you have your cake area, kamechukuliwa. Fertilizer, then what? So you're telling me, do I even want to imagine physically how much that looks like? Where are they hiding it, if at all it was stolen? I was very disappointed with
Maua iko wapi?
Maua.
That place Maua. Because it was the Maua depot.
Are they closer to Meru?
Okay. So kitu ile ni bamba, they even know the specific number. That show that over 7,354.
Hi, add another 300 and something goons.
That's
the thing. Like, I'm telling you, I don't know whether I should be mad by their stupidity or I should be mad because they think we are stupid. Hi.
Kuna hiyo, alafu when we talk about goons and they're there condemning goons, nakumbuka there is these photos that people keep sharing. Ilikuwa ni rare photo of goons receiving orders from Rigiji. So Rigiji is controlling the police. It's just ile sarcasm ya unataka kutuonyesha
Apparently.
Rigijia na ana nini ana control nini, so it's a very sad state of affairs, but yes,
Very.
there's been this tribal narrative
Yeah.
that's being pushed.
No.
And the EO, so
Yeah.
what do you think it's going to take for the president to just come to the reality that people won't buy this Gachagua narrative, that hata useme it's Gachagua trying to topple you,
Yeah.
that the youth are being used, no one is using them, these people
No.
come from the house au wenyewe wanajipeleka tao.
Let
So,
me tell you, even I, in fact, this past Wednesday, I had made up my mind I'm going.
yes.
Was I mobilized by anyone? So what would it take for him to realize that things won't? Honestly, with wishful thinking, and I know your stand and I agree with your stand,
Yes.
he just needs to go home. Yesterday, you saw Kai Kai was like, when he was asking, will you want me to go home? How will I go home? Kamaanisha matatu za uko kwao.
Yeah, sugoi.
Yeah. But this is, from my own perspective, this is my own view. If by now they have not taken any accountability, any changes, anything, we're just going to have to keep dealing with them as they are. Because by now, first of all, invalidating a worthy cause, we came to lay flowers, to remember the 60 that we lost.
Yes.
And honestly, started very well in the morning. And then, this is the worst part. You see now, them blaming Rigiji and their own evidence coming out even days before.
Yes.
For instance, that feature on KTN about how they had planned to attack women.
Yes.
They're getting exposed by the day. And the thing is, in as much as we may say time will vindicate us, but the whole thing, we need to drain the swamp. Hey, it's like now, let's say my son comes and tells me, Mommy, I really get sad when you yell at me. A genuine conversation from a child. And first of all, as a parent, and this is something you've raised, why are you calling the young people children? They're not children.
Yeah, they're not.
So I disregard my son and say, whatever. Every time he tells me, Mommy, I get so sad. Whatever. In fact, I start gaslighting him. Do you know the damage you do, first of all, to that child? And who they become after that is entirely on you. So we're being led by a regime that is destroying and creating something else out of the youth. In as much as they're playing dirty by mobilizing these goons and strategically, making things happen by convenience.
Yes.
First of all, we are not buying it. Second, I think we still have to be in their faces until something moves. And hopefully Kenyans can really, really, truly make better decisions on the next president. And by the way, let me just say this, and I can be quoted. I'm supporting Maraga. And I hope he runs with it. In as much as Kenyans, we're so used to chaos.
Yes, and
goons. Hooligans.
People will grab your land.
You know, people who have no spine. What about we try someone new for a change?
Yes.
Apart from the popularity, we have to be very honest with ourselves. Because, guys, it's not going to get any better. A year ago, there was that glimmer of hope. A year down the line, it's almost like we've just been sinking, and they just keep exposing themselves. You look at this one, like, can you imagine someone like Mutahi Ngunyi, a wonderful man in this country, but because he's serving the regime, he can come and tell us such unbelievable things. You know, all of them, the more comments, I don't want to say some other names because I don't want to. I hope, guys, don't come for me. My children don't have another mother. But you can tell it's a monster that keeps growing and growing. And why is it growing? Because there's disregard. There's no account. Like, in fact, this is what you usually say. Again, that's why I support some of the things you say. I wish he can listen and do one thing right. Do you know he can turn around everything in a day?
Yes.
Let the medical industry work. Pay doctors well. Let the teachers and anything to do with education work. Let infrastructure what's the word? Thrive. For instance, right now Nairobi looks like a dumping site. Kilimani, you don't know whether in Kilimani or some place in Uko.
Yes.
Mashinani, actually Mashinani have better roads than the city. Then the corruption. Just one at a time. Move it. I'm telling you, would never go back to the streets. But here we are. Honestly, there's so much hopelessness. There's so much, until when? I've even had physical palpitations where you're like, you wake up and you're like, I'm in Kenya, another nightmare. And every morning you go online and you see, first of all, not even, just ridiculous things. Ridiculous that make your blood boil. You don't know what the future looks like. For us parents, we don't know if our kids can be able to attend uni. I was in KU and it was such a smooth ride. You can see the students who've been sponsored by JAB, they get their, it's called what? HELB.
Yes. Amekuja, disrupt hapo. Talking of endorsing candidates, do you think 2027 artists should do that? Artists and content creators? Because for a very long time, tumekuwa kwa fence, tukisema, we don't want to offend some of our fans. But nkiangalia hata TZ, as much as people will say that it's through intimidation, TZ we always know, akina Diamond, wote, wana support Chama cha Mapinduzi.
True.
So do you feel in 2027 artists need to come out, and not just in 2027, early enough, so that this, if you're supporting Amaraga, you give them a chance because you've endorsed them mapema kabisa. So watu wanaweza anza kuona something, because pia mimi nimekuwa very clear nikisema ni Maraga. I need that sort of leadership. I don't need this gunnery. I need someone who akiingia pale akisikia some goons wame take over land, atataka ikuwe solved in a very
quick,
timely
fast
manner.
way. Exactly.
So
artists, influencers, content creators. Let me tell you, Mafia, you're even going too far. If right now artists and influencers were supporting the right thing, and that is actually calling out what is going wrong in the country, this is where they start. By the time we are getting to candidates, you don't even need to be told to support this candidate or the other one. I think the saddest part is how they're lured and they have a meeting and they're given a little money and they come speaking another language. Whatever you stand for it, both feet, toes on the ground, and say, I'm here because I want better leadership. It's not because Maraga, I don't even know where the man comes from. We've seen his work. His work speaks for itself. If you say, you're not trying to be there and, you're in the streets or campaign trails, it's what is right. And I think there's also that fear, which maybe started with the boomers, going back about saying who your candidate should be. But the truth is, where we are, we need proper leadership. Right now, it won't help to be cute and be neat. Please.
And to sit on the fence this time as you work. Historia, musamaga, if the fans are going to get offended, then they get offended. Maybe before last year, 2022 elections, kulikuwa na watu wengi sana kwa nini zangu walikuwa wananitukana. Because remember at that time, Ruto was very popular. And I remember saying that this guy aligrab land ya Muteshi. 100 acres when he was DP. Oh no. How can we say that this guy is going to be the change that we want? Watu wako like, umesema hivyo jueni mjaka, nini. And the way I was looking at it was, Martha Karua and Raila. This was before to the goons and the goons running everything. Right. I was like, this stands a better chance than it come to whatever. And I even feel like, I'd still say, as much as maybe haingekuwa very good, but it would have still been better than this guy. Because I remember even Uhuru akienda kwa channel za Wasapere akitry convince wase a night before. Tafadhalini.
Yes, I watched that interview. And just like you, I didn't even have, it was more or less like the better evil. But he just affirmed what I've always known. Because growing up, I could, when you're watching the news and your parents are discussing this person, and then you look at their record, first of all, and you usually say patterns don't lie.
Yes.
Indeed. Inasemaje, ameshika ndipo. You were just waiting to get on that seat and everything switched.
Yes.
I wish we can learn from this mistake and do better, because I can tell you more, I do not see things getting better. Yeah.
Yes, and vile tumesema jo, you have to pick a candidate.
Yeah.
Historia, you don't want to offend your fan. A real fan
Yeah.
will still support you even
Yeah.
if me organize a lot of IKONINI people waniambiaga they disagree with me on a lot of stuff, but they still stick around.
Exactly.
So if you are the sort of person ule tukikosana juu ya political candidate alafu unahepa,
Yeah.
that means that you are never a
No,
fan
no,
to
no,
start
no.
with.
And,
Yes.
and just to put that across one more time, stand for what is right.
Yes.